some men don't do well with women authority, and some I think that they don't even notice it.
Yeah.
And some as the lead photographer, you have to tell people to move a light or to move your equipment or move I want this here, and you're moving fast. So it's just like, I'm like, oh, I want this light here. Can you move this light down? I don't like this lighting, and then as you're discussing it, sometimes I'll get like an attitude, or sometimes I'll get, especially sometimes I'll work with new teams, and sometimes I'll get like a little, like I could just feel some saltiness, but you can't let it affect you. Sometimes I just know who not to hire again, and that's just that.
Seen is not just a podcast. It is a movement dedicated to amplifying the voices, experiences, and stories of women shaping the film and photography industries. We're going to dive deep into the soul work that these women undertake every day to pursue their dreams, passions, and to breathe life into their creativity. And all while fostering and nurturing a thriving community among women in our field. I'm Nalani Hernandez Melo, a creative photographer, director, and curator based in Los Angeles, and I am deeply honored to share this space with you as your host and creator of Seen. I am delighted to introduce Emilynn Rose, who is a distinguished photographer and director based in Los Angeles. Originally from the Philippines and raised in the vibrant city of Angels, Emilynn began her journey with a keen eye and insatiable curiosity about the world around her. This curiosity soon blossomed into a passionate engagement with photography, where she honed a signature style that is as captivating as it is colorful, with a particular sensitivity to the female form. Now specializing in fashion and beauty, Emilynn aims to amplify the female gaze through her lens, capturing the unique power and essence of women. As a woman of color, her work fosters a vital conversation on inclusivity and empowerment, celebrating the importance of collaboration and artistic exploration. Taking a moment to experiencing her work, you're immediately greeted by vivid imagery that dazzles but also resonates deeply with its message of strength and unity among women. Emilynn's work is a true celebration of diversity and the female spirit, making her a standout voice in the world of photography and film. It is such an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to the podcast, Emilynn.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be a part of this.
Thank you for saying yes. A little bit for the listeners, we've never officially met, but I've been following your work. And we just talked about this. You happened to actually be at Seen, the exhibition that happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was the inception of this. So thank you for being a part of that experience.
Yes,
and now
of
you're
course.
Here.
Anything to be a part of a female who's just empowering and gathering other women together and building this, just this next chapter of like where the industry is going to go. And that's so exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I always like to start with a little icebreaker, the little visualization exercise. Okay. Emilynn, can you paint me a picture? Take me back to the moment that you fell in love with photography. A moment where you're like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I was a crazy partier. I loved partying. And I used to be the girl with her point and flash camera and like being at parties, taking photos. And then my mom would always be like, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? Like, what do you want to be? And I was just like, well, I really like taking photos of my friends. And, I just remember she took me to Costco to like buy my first camera, a Canon T2i, the kit package from Costco, and I remember unboxing it. And then as I took it out of the box, I held it, and I was like, "Wow, I love it already." Like I don't know what this journey is about to be, but I just fell in love with it. And then from that day on, I was the girl who always had the camera. I was shooting my friends. I was shooting yearbook. I started putting together like a fashion club in my high school and going out and taking photos. So it was just a start of just being in love with this creative path.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this now professionally?
Oh, wow. Professionally, I've been doing this for like 11 years now. Yeah.
Oh my God. Was it scary or what was the experience to say like, this is what I'm going to pursue?
I think when I was younger, I was so fearless. And so, I mean, I still am pretty fearless, but you know, the thought of being something other than a photographer when I was younger was, I think, scarier than actually pursuing it. Like I just dreamt so hard, and I was just like, when I first started, I didn't know exactly what kind of photographer I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be into fashion because I started watching America's Next Top Model, and I was like, wow, like that's like, I want to do that. I want to put together shoots like that. But I didn't know how I was going to get there. It seemed so far from, where I was, but it was just something that I was like so excited about. And it started off with me just asking my friends to do shoots and play dress up and do makeup and go out to abandoned houses and sneak in there and do a photo shoot and their really avant-garde clothing. And it was just, it was so fun. And if I think about it now, it's kind of still what I'm doing today, but just in a different level, right? We play dress up, we do
Pretty
makeup.
much, we're playing. Playing and
creating.
Bringing make-believe into reality.
Exactly.
And magic.
Exactly.
Now when you work with a full team, what is your present self telling like little self?
Oh, I mean, there's times where I still cry on the way to set. I think that this path that I'm in is just so surreal. I can't believe I'm here. And even though I have been doing it for 11 years, I think that there's just levels to this journey that I'm still so baffled by, that I'm in certain jobs, I'm in certain rooms, I'm photographing people who I idolized. And, I think it's, I'm very blessed and I'm very lucky to do what I love. And I hope to continue to feel like this until the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a big reason of why I resonate with not just your work, but, following your story. And again, it's all through social media, but seeing the energy, it's infectious.
Wow,
and like the
thank
bubbly,
you.
but also the confidence. You radiate confidence. And when you share stories of your production set, it's always this youthful energy of like everything is so new and fun. Like you're still finding the magic in that moment.
And I think that's God for me. Like I just wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this, like for photography. I think it's so beautiful to just be in this space. I don't know. It's just really crazy. That's exactly how I think sometimes. I'll be doing like these shoots and I'm like, wow, this is awesome.
We were in the last conversation, we were just talking about that experience, that feeling of wondering. I mean, I know for myself, it'll never go away, that like, oh my God, we just created this from nothing.
Yeah.
Is there a recent project or shoot that left you feeling that awestruck moment?
Yeah. So I just got to actually shoot a cover for Numero magazine with Liza. And that was a project that they gave me full creative freedom. And it was really a beautiful process because it's something that people don't realize. Like when you start a project from the creative vision, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of time. Takes a lot of mood boarding, and you're really putting everything and all into the project. And this was a project that I put everything and all into. It was so much fun. Liza was the best to shoot. It was one of those like dream talents that you just love having on set. Her energy was great.
Yeah.
We did a fitting before the shoot, so her energy, I got to like really meet her energy before the shoot. And as I creative directed it, I started kind of talking to Liza about it, bouncing off with her, and it was just such a beautiful collaborative process.
Yeah.
which started, when you're a photographer, you kind of do these things on your own. But then when you start working in teams, it's like amazing when, the stylist brings in their ideas, and then, when the talent, she loved it. So she started kind of being like, oh, like I'd love this. And and I was just like, wow, like it's just kind of started becoming what I remember I love about photography is creatives coming together and playing. Right. So we are on set, and so we start doing the shoot, and then mind you, my best friend, I got her on it. Her name is Jill. She's an awesome producer, and she produced it with me. So it's just like me and my group of friends like playing and doing what we love, and it's just a full day of being like cheerleaders and being like, that lighting is awesome. We love that lighting. Yeah, so it's really cool.
And it's really, and it kind of leads into, it echoes the idea of like infectious energy.
Yeah.
And I think a set can definitely be that.
Yeah.
What can, you just described the path when we go from solo, when you start as a photographer, you are doing a lot. And then you step into a bigger role where you get to bring on your teams.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, were there any challenges or moments when you were taking that step from being on your own and now you have your first big shoot with the team that you had to push through?
Yeah. It definitely is a change when you go from, shooting by yourself and maybe having one assistant to shooting with around 5 to 7 teammates, and also navigating client and navigating hair and makeup and styling, and everyone's asking you questions, and you definitely learn how to become an orchestrator and how to speak the vision from client to the team, and also remembering that you want to have a great time on set. You don't want to be so serious, and you don't want to get so upset when things aren't going the way it should be, which is most of sets.
Yeah.
Everything you can prepare as much as possible.
So true.
The producer can create the most curated shot list.
Yeah.
But on the day of the shoot,
out the
window, And so it's all about pivoting and knowing that, believing in yourself and being like, you know how to communicate with people, you know how to move through these hard things that are thrown at you during set, and just keep on going and try not to get flustered.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I could say this now, but there was a point in my career during that shift from going from one assistant to having many, many people on set is definitely the communication part. And having to navigate through that at first had its challenges, but I think now it's, I've worked with the same team for 5+ years, and it's been really smooth and can't complain.
It's almost like once you find that dream team and the people that you really not just resonate with, but what you said, communication, understand your vision, and also that they can communicate with you. And I think a big thing, it's all a relationship. So conflict resolution, people that you know how to, we always call it repair, restore effectively and quickly, because time is money.
There's no time on set to be going back and forth and arguing just because of, I don't know, I wanted the light moved a different way. There's just no time. And I think that also comes with respect. Definitely in the beginning of my career, I think that respect was hard to get. I was so young when I started getting on these sets, and I think once I started knowing my worth and knowing my confidence, and so thank you for saying that I'm projecting confidence, because I felt like there was a time in my career where I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling confident, but but I think having that confidence that I am leading this team today, for this project, and I have to execute the final deliverables for a client, right? So it comes down on you, and so you want to be the best leader, but at the same time, know how to communicate with your team on, how to navigate through lots of changes, a huge shot list,
I would love to stay here for a moment and explore that. I love to ask guests, are there any practices or personal rituals that you do that help you cultivate that energy to be a great leader or to stay confident and grounded?
Yeah. So I've tried many things before a shoot, and one that that's really my practice now, and it's been my practice for maybe 2 years now, is that before a shoot, I always wake up anywhere between 2 to 3 hours before a call time. I do a meditation for about like 15, 20 minutes, and then I stretch for 30 minutes. And then so I like to have very slow mornings because I know that once I arrive on set, it is go time.
Nice.
It is showtime, baby. And so, I feel like having those slow mornings to gather my thoughts. And sometimes I even will look back into the deck, review it, make sure I know exactly what we're shooting. And so that when I get there, everything is very clear for me. And I love coming in with like smooth energy. I like, hi everyone, just easygoing into the day.
When I hear you say that, it sounds like you're very intentional of like your responsibility to the team begins like with the energy you're showing up as soon as you're through the door.
It really is.
Yeah.
People are looking at you to set the vibes on set, and I love it. I love having a great time on set, and I love what I do. And so I think having a little bit of I'm pretty responsible, but I just I don't want to come in hungover. I don't want to come in tired. I don't want to come in and like my back's hurting. So it's just like, I rather, since I started stretching, it's changed everything, just like feeling like I can, some of my I like to be handheld with my cameras. So sometimes I'm like bending and like on the ground and back, my back is like bent. So it's just like, it does help stretching.
We all have those photos of us like in the awkward, but it gets the shot.
It gets the shot, right? So it's just like, doing this for this long, I'm like, I want to do this forever. So I got to keep it young.
I love that.
Yeah.
Your mom is on set here with us.
Yes,
so
she is. Hi, Mom.
So I would love to use that as a jumping point to dive into culture and how culture and our background has influences our creative processes. So I had a question here about, as a woman of color, navigating this industry, what personal experience has your culture profoundly impacted the work?
Being from the Philippines and then moving to a city like Los Angeles, I grew up in Hawthorne, California, which is, there was actually not a lot of Asians growing up. I actually grew up in a predominantly Black and Hispanic neighborhood. And I remember when I was younger, I came to, I arrived in LA and I was like, in Hawthorne, and I was like, wow, everyone looks different from me. Because in the Philippines, everyone's Filipino. And when I started navigating through school and getting to know these different cultures, some of my first friends were Hispanic. And so I remember eating a taco for the first time and enjoying that, that newness and just having these diverse group of friends and learning so much culture from each one. And I think that really helped inspire me in my work. Because for me, diversity is so important. My process of coming from the Philippines to a city like Hawthorne, that was where I was really indulged into culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how have you taken that in diversity is important to you. So how do you implement that importance into you now with client work or in the work that you're producing?
Yeah, for me, whenever I do get a chance to be a part of casting or the approvals of models, I really do keep that in mind as far as making sure nothing's just filling a box, or it's, if the brand, even the people, even the clients I work for, I think it's really important that we are showcasing the true meaning of what their branding is, right? So
Absolutely.
If they want to showcase for every skin tone or every, race, then, do it. So it's important to actually cast in that. And
Absolutely.
I think for me, when I do my projects and more of my personal projects, that's the way I like to cast, where it doesn't feel forced. It feels authentic. It feels authentic that these are the people that you'd see together, and it feels natural. And even when I'm on set, like I see these women who are from different races and different ethnicities getting along, having a great time. And those are the things those are the feeling I want to capture, because that's how I feel with my group of friends. And that's how I feel when I, can live that way. And I feel like that is a luxury, to feel like we get to embrace other people's culture.
Absolutely. I love that. And you mentioned your personal projects. Tell us a little bit about what's inspires your personal your work.
So my personal work is I do a lot of these women group projects that I just love bringing groups of women together.
Yeah.
There's this thing that happens on set when I bring these group shoots together, and it just becomes a day of cheering each other on.
Yeah.
It's just like one person, some of the women will be shooting their solos, and everyone behind me will be like, woo, yes, you look so good, babe. And then it's the group shot of everybody, and everyone's just like fixing each other's hair and like being so, like, you just start seeing women supporting women.
Absolutely.
And it's giving me chills right now just thinking about those moments, because it's really beautiful seeing that on set. That collaboration and creativity, and everyone's just exuding joy of, that everyone loves what they're doing, but it's even more enhanced being around all women, in these projects.
Oh my God. And this, you mentioned that you explore the female gaze, and when I hear you, as a photographer, when there's a female model, they have shared many times, like they feel something different when there's a woman behind the camera. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about what is your intention exploring the female gaze and what that means to you as a photographer?
Yeah. So exploring the female gaze for me is not overly sexualizing everything. And I mean, I am all for loving your body and, showcasing that and being confident. Like for me, exuding confidence is a big part of the female gaze. Like I want women to love their body because they love it, and not because we have to sexualize it to gain likes or, I think there's a difference. And I don't want to say it's like a female, like it's like a me thing, but I don't know. I want my images to exude confidence. I want women looking at my images and feeling confident and feeling that they could do that, and they can pose naked and have that energy in their face, and they feel like this is my body. This is my face. This is me, and not so much of like, this is what I want. I hope that people think I'm sexy,
Yes, I hear you describe.
And there's nothing wrong with that,
no,
too.
No, of course not.
Because I love looking, We
all love to feel sexy.
Yes, exactly.
We welcome sexiness.
Yes, exactly. But for something more internal,
exactly.
right?
I hear you explain that, and to me, the word that comes to mind is like reclaiming our own sexuality, sensuality.
I love that.
For ourselves.
Exactly.
And that, and in turn, taking from a spiritual lens, it's like, if I want to be sexy, it's because it's my choice.
Exactly.
And no one's taking this energy from me. No one's giving me anything to create this.
Yes.
I am.
Exactly.
And that in itself exudes, and people can feel it.
Yes.
And so it's beautiful to hear when there's, other photographers, creatives who are exploring that, but also using the medium to empower other women to discover that from themselves. Because like you said, we all love to feel good, but society at times does make us feel like we have to, because that's what expected from us.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like even makeup, it's like, if you love putting makeup on, you go, girl.
Yeah.
If you like not wearing any makeup, you do that too, because you want to. I want people to embrace who they are, because as I even gone through my life and my journey, navigating as a photographer and being part of these rooms where you're like, you're constantly like, oh, like, should I look like that? Should I have a body like that? But it's like, no, this is my body. This is what I'm given with. Like, let's show that. Let's
Yeah.
showcase that because this is what I got, you know?
Work with what I got and love it.
And love it. Yes, exactly.
Thank you for sharing that. That's like, it's so affirming to hear other women out there doing the work to help us be seen and feel authentic.
Yes, exactly.
What happened?
And thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, like even when you arrived and you were working, like your mom was brushing your hair. It was just a beautiful moment of it. From what I see, it sounds like it's important for you to create these moments of, I'm going to use the word sisterhood, among females, because it really untaps energy that we need to feel more because it's very healing.
Oh, it really, yes.
Was that something that has always been a part of you or something that developed after a certain part in your life?
I think it definitely developed. I think as a younger kid, I was how do I say this? Life was very dark for me as a kid, and as I got older and I was searching for love and the meaning of love and the love that I deserved, I found that in relationships, like my mom, like my best friends and my community. And there is nothing like knowing and feeling the authentic love like that, where it's so unconditional.
A lot of creatives, we use our art to process.
Yeah.
Like you said, dark or heaviness.
Yeah.
And we come out on the other side with something really beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. And so, as I, started really strengthening like my community and my girlies and my, my squad, like it's just it's so important to just, I think there's just so much love in me and I love to love and I love to enjoy life. And if I could do that with, my friends or like even other women on set and, kind of bring people who have the same kind of energy as me, who enjoy it and not so much hate it. Like, I'm all for it. Yeah. Yeah.
You have had such an immense career and had these different milestones and advocating for community among women. But when you went from, when you had that growth spurt from, let's say like going from your smaller gig to your first big one, taking that big role, were there any challenges you experienced because you're a woman or, because you're very feminine, and how did you tackle that?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I actually still sometimes go through it. So I think like the hardest sometimes is kind of, I brought it up earlier, which is being a woman leader.
Respect.
And I think that some men don't do well with women authority. And some, I think that they don't even notice it.
Yeah.
And some as the lead photographer, you have to tell people to move a light or to move your equipment or move I want this here, and you're moving fast. So it's just like, I'm like, oh, I want this light here. Can you move this light down? I don't like this lighting, and then as you're discussing it, sometimes I'll get like an attitude or sometimes I'll get, especially sometimes I'll work with new teams and sometimes I'll get like a little, like I could just feel some saltiness, but you can't let it affect you. Sometimes I just know who not to hire again, and that's just that. Cause it's not really like sometimes, there are situations where I've had to bring some things up, but, typically the ones who end up staying and who I end up working with, they're so, there's no male ego. And the ones I, who are my gaffers, my lighting tech, my digis, who are men. When I do say something and they don't have an ego, I love that because they just, we're all in this together. We're all trying to work together and do jobs together. So like, let's kill it together. And so, I don't know if you noticed, but community is a big part of it for me. Like,
absolutely.
And so, when you're not, if you don't want to be a part of it, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be. Maybe our energies don't match up. You know, maybe you're just the kind of person that doesn't do well with my type of energy, and that's okay. But I want people to be around me who aren't really, you know, threatened by me. Yeah.
That's even to say that, you know, like we want somebody that is down to collaborate with us and not feel like worried about that. When you do have a moment when the energy shifts or you had a conflict, what is something that you do to like ground yourself and keep things chill, because things are moving fast?
Yeah. Well, I love being on set.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I'm like an energizer bunny on set. I'm like really excited to be on set. And it's funny because it just happened like a few months ago. I did a job in Texas, and I never met this digitech before. And he was just, at first, we were really like, we were cool. We were talking. He was recommended to me by another photographer. So I thought like, I was like, oh, great. Like, we'll be great together. It'll be a smooth sailing shoot.
Yeah.
It was a great job. It was I wouldn't say easy, but it was a straight to the point project.
Okay.
You know, and so it was one location, you know, and I just thought, I was like, this is gonna be smooth sailing. You know, like there's nothing you really gotta like, we don't have to move around. We don't have to change sets. Like you're a digitech, so you're stationed. And I like to color. I like to be color correcting as I'm shooting, and I like certain ways for my digi to work. And so I was trying to explain to him how I like to work, and he stopped and he looks at me and he's like, "Well, that's not how I like to work." And I go, "Well, that's not how I like to work." And then so I just looked at him and I was just like, "Well, we're gonna do it like this, and we got to keep moving." You know, and then you just kind of have to pivot. There's no time for arguments.
Absolutely.
It's so interesting though, because me and my clients all went to dinner after, and they were like, "Did you notice that? Like, did you see him do that? Like, give you like little attitudes?" And I was just like, "Yeah, like, could you believe that?" But one, I would never hire that digitech again.
Yeah.
And then two, I don't look like a fool. He looks like the fool.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just like, I think when men act like that, I'm like, you're making yourself look a little embarrassing. So, and this is your job. So I'm like, that's not on me. Yeah. So those are things I've gone, you know, and it's crazy because like I thought like, you know, they come in such gaps, you know,
Absolutely.
like, because when I do work in LA, I'm working with my crew.
True.
But as I, you know, go to different states and I'm shooting in different countries, like I do have to work with sometimes different teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you're like, oh, I won't go through this. Like, you know, I've been doing this for a good enough time. And then you're like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't know there was still, you know, just arrogancy.
This exists out there.
Yeah. I forgot a little bit. I was like, yeah.
I want to talk a bit about your creative process and inspiration. I know you mentioned fashion, but what other areas in life, or where do you look to for inspo?
Inspiration?
Just that brings you, let's not think about like a specific project.
Yeah.
What in life inspires you?
Oh, I think living.
That's a great answer.
Just like living in everything. I mean, as I'm walking and I love to be outdoors. I love traveling. Colors inspire me a lot. Yeah. And yeah, it's so funny because I even remember this day, like I was just walking into Michael and I see this like fake bouquet of flowers with like this really awesome color, and that inspired me. Yeah. And I put together a whole shoot like just based on that moment of inspiration. And
that's amazing.
You know, it's just being, I think it's so important as an artist to be in the moment because you really do find inspiration in everything. If it's a feeling, if it's something that you see, if it's a moment, like I think those are all things you could bring into your art. And when there's moments like that, I just always try to remind myself that the more I'm living in the moment, because I'm a future thinker. Yeah. Like I'm always thinking about the future. So sometimes I have to reel myself back into living in the moment.
Okay.
And so as I live in the moment and the present, I'm always like that. Those are the times where I find the most authentic inspirations for myself because I feel so in tune with who I am at that moment.
That's incredible. It's also incredible that you can identify when you need to pull yourself back into the present.
Yeah.
What do you do to pull yourself back?
I meditate.
Meditate.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite meditations or style that you do?
I love guided meditations.
Okay.
But in the morning, I do wake up to just meditation music right away to just get me to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll even like put it right away on my phone. Like I'll go on YouTube and then I'll just put it on my chest and then I'm like, okay, I got to just get up. But I do love slow mornings.
Slow morning.
And that's very recent in the recent years. That was like in the last year, I would say. But before that, I used to jolt out of bed.
Ooh.
I used to jolt out of bed and I used to go straight into my computer and I would dive into like being on my computer, editing or coloring or just doing computer work. Yeah. Because people think we're always on set, but
we're not.
a good amount of time is we're in front of a computer.
Yeah.
And so I would just go straight to it. And that 3 years ago was the first time I've ever really felt, you would get burnt out, but I never felt the burnout that people were talking about where it's like, I lacked inspiration. I was so depressed. I was so unmotivated. And that was such a real burnout. It lasted like a year.
What happened? Like, what did you start to notice to identify that you were going through that hard time?
I just started feeling so uninspired. It was getting harder and harder to get out of bed. I was kind of spiraling. And it's crazy because at this time, you would be like, oh, wow, she's like successful and she's doing good. And it was when I bought my house as well. And, my career was doing well. And I was building new projects and I think I was doing a lot at once. Yeah. And as I look back, that's something that I do tell my future self, that it's okay to take it step by step. Okay. Things don't have to happen tomorrow. Yeah. And that was me. I love to work at the speed of light. Yeah. When I'm motivated and I'm inspired, I like to just go immediately. Yeah. And I think it's important to slow it down sometimes. And so as I wake up and I have these slow mornings, I get to enjoy the journey a lot more and not so much about the final result.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow, that hits
really?
home.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. The idea of I recently had an accident and I always ask myself, my mom and I joke, but we always ask ourselves when accidents happen or something starts to happen, that moment of stop and ask, like, what's the lesson here? Right. What do I need to do? And in one of our prior conversations with the guest today, we talked about how our culture has rewarded the hustle and the grind. Yeah. But it's almost counterintuitive, especially when you're creative, to nurture the essence or and how did you decide meditation was going to be the way? Did someone recommend it or? Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of like success, I listen to a lot of podcasts with successful people and, everyone talks about meditation. And when I started to really dive into the practice, it's not like I'm doing like hour meditations, this is just, I'm easing into it. Maybe the longest I've done is like 30 minutes, but that's still good. It's just being able to sit down. So for me, it's just, one of the things I've heard so much from successful people is, not being on your phone immediately. And that's so hard. Yeah. But when I wake up and I go straight into meditation and prayer and I get to have that 15 minutes of silence in my own head or praying to God, like I feel so in tune and ready for the day after. Like I don't feel like I'm like overwhelmed by my anxiety of what I need to do. Yeah. I'm just like, we just gotta go. Yeah. We gotta do one step at a time, one checklist at a time, and you get through it. I mean, some days are harder because some days you don't have the luxury to just like have a slow morning. Yeah. Life throws you curveballs. Actually, a good one was, was that yesterday? Yesterday, I had to look for a new insurance, car insurance, and after I woke up and meditated, I got stuck finding insurance for 3 hours. I started getting so frustrated. Yeah. I was like, I didn't realize how hard this is. And then I was like driving and I was just starting to get flustered.
And then I was just like, you know what? When you get into your office, when you arrive there, you're going to take a breath. And I had to like talk myself into it.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to like ease into it. And you're going to eat first. Because sometimes you forget to eat when you get so busy. And I was like, you're just going to eat first. Let's worry about that. And then I kid you not, after I ate my falafel wrap, I dove into work. And it was like, I was just checking things left and right. I was like, yeah, I just finished that. I just finished coloring this set. Like, I was just doing it because I was just like, wow, like you got to let things go.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not worried about what happened in the morning. I'm like, let's just enjoy it now because that was stressful, but let's change that. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have part to bring that groundedness is first to establish the connection or dialogue with ourselves.
Yeah.
And listening, because sometimes our body is telling us what we need, but we have so many things we're worried about or taking care of that we're not listening, we're not hearing it.
And one thing that I've actually been doing lately is so funny is I'm not trying to rush anymore. I used to rush all the time. Like I rushed getting dressed and I rushed, being out. I'm very time oriented.
Yeah.
I think I have a natural producer in me. I would never be a producer. That's for my best friend. But I have a natural producer in me where I'm very time like oriented, but I've learned to prepare for that. Like just like even waking up early for set instead of jumping out of bed and then like driving into traffic and then getting on set. Yeah. It's like, you just have to kind of prepare for it. And then I just try not to rush. And then that's when like things happen. That's when you make mistakes. That's when, I feel like that, like I always remind myself, like, you don't need to rush because that's how you're going to scratch your car. That's how you're going to drop your camera, And so, I even tell other people that, like, I can tell like sometimes when I'm in the store and I'm like, oh, I'm like waiting, they'll start rushing things. And I was like, oh, no need to rush, And it even makes you, even if I'm telling someone else that, I'm like reminding myself and I'm like, it's okay. We're not in a rush.
Yeah.
Until we are in a rush and then we're like, shoot.
Hurry up. Wrap it up.
Yeah, exactly.
What role does vulnerability, like opening up, play in your creative process and working with others?
Yeah. I think being vulnerable is really important. I mean, I am an emotional girly, so
in our fields.
I am in my fields. I like to project that. I like to communicate. But I think it's important to communicate, but also know like some things don't have to be communicated as well. And boundaries. I'm a strong believer in boundaries. So
say more on that. Like, how do you set your own boundaries?
I'm just very vocal, but I also feel like I know how to say it in like a very polite way. I think you got to just find the balance and not be upset if someone, is in your space, but also is just like, oh, I'm not like that. Yeah. Or it's like, some people would be like asking you questions on set and like, it's not really something you want to talk about. I'm like, that, I kind of just like will pivot the conversation, or I'll just be like, oh yeah, that's not really something I talk about, but I get it. Yeah, yeah.
And sure. And you said you're a sensitive spirit and person. And I am too. And there have been times in my life where that someone has told me that is not a good thing, or they used it against me, or I had an employer once tell you like, there's no room for your emotions here.
Oh wow.
And especially when you're younger, like it puts a lot of thoughts and stories in your head. What do you do to tend to and nurture that sensitive side of yourself and let her be her authentic self?
Oh, I watch romance movies and I cry.
Me too.
Yeah. That is my, I love to watch romance and bawl. Yeah. But I think there's a fine line with that. Yeah. I do believe that you can't bring your drama into set. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, not drama in the sense of like, just like, I don't know, like, you just can't bring like certain things into set, like an energy, but also like it's okay to feel not okay some days.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay to communicate that with people like, oh, I'm just having or your team at least, not the client.
Yes.
Not the client.
Absolutely.
You know? Absolutely not the client. But like, you know, this is when you start, like, I do believe in team building.
Yes.
Because there have been times where I wasn't really feeling so well. I mean, you know, I am an energetic person, but this is not who I am 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, there are times where I do love to be an introvert. And so there are times where I'm not like 100% feeling the way, like, you know, as I should be, but I'll communicate that with my team. And then, you know, it's really awesome when I see some of my teammates pick it up for me.
Yeah.
Like they'll be the one that's like cheering the client on.
Yeah.
And I'm just like looking at them and I'm like, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I would be like looking at them. I'm like, that's my,
Yeah. And that,
you know.
and it circles back to community because
exactly.
it's all,
you have to, you know, you have to help one another out, you know, and especially the more we do this, it's just, we can't be what people expect us all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that's like setting yourself up for failure, you know, it's just sometimes, I'm human. And so sometimes I'll feel a certain way. And so, it takes, you know, the good people around you to like help lift you back up and even like know how to talk to you.
Yeah, and that's what I have been very grateful for the friends and team that I've met that do allow me to be human.
Oh yeah.
And learning how to communicate and express that, like, it's a beautiful trust that you build when there's someone that you can tell them, like you said, I'm not feeling, or they can even perceive, like,
or you can just feel it. You know, and it's like, I got you, girlie. Yeah, it's so funny. One of my producers that I work with all the time started seeing me like getting like, I was like really trying to like get through the shot list. And I was like, I just really want to get through this. Like, I want to, you know, because I'm so for about making sure the client gets what they want.
Yeah.
And she just comes in with a plate right next to me and she's like, just take a couple bites. Just take a couple bites for me. And I'm just like, oh, okay, yes. And then, you know, like it's, you know, I should remember it's fuel, it's energy to like eat, you know, and so.
But sometimes the energy can take you so into a different space.
Exactly.
Like, there's no time.
There's no, I got to do this now. Exactly.
Are there any gems or advice you want to share with someone who's just starting out in their career and wants to pursue this?
Yeah. You know, I know this may sound cliche, but just keep on going because this journey is not easy, but it is so rewarding. Like even on your darkest days, I promise you'd rather be in the darkest times wondering why your art is not, you know, coming out the way you want or why people aren't gravitating to it the way you want. But it's so rewarding to be able to have an idea and to create it and then put it out to the world. And if this is your dream, keep pursuing it because it is a beautiful, beautiful journey.
Beautiful.
To believe in yourself and to do what you love.
Yeah.
You know, we only have one life and you got to do what you love. You know, and I know that sometimes it could be a privilege to say. And I know that not everyone has that luxury, especially if you're someone who is starting, you know, even a little later in life where you have bills and you have, you know, you have all these, you know, expenses, but you want to take a chance of being a creative. You have to just find a way to prepare to take the chance, you know, just be, you know, mentally be ready and be like, okay, well, I'll save this amount and then I'm gonna just go full force.
Wow.
You know, you have to try to get there.
I'm getting emotional right now. This is interesting because I'm asking the questions.
Oh my God.
But hearing you,
you're gonna make me
hearing you say that the part of like, even if you're starting later.
Yeah.
We got.
Oh, Nalani.
It's good.
But these are what we, you know, have these conversations.
Exactly,
you know?
because again, leaning into my spirituality.
Yeah.
I don't believe in coincidences. Everything falls into place. The fact that you're here with your mother.
Oh.
I was raised by a single teen mom, immigrant mother.
Yeah.
And for her, hearing your story, your mom like told you to pursue this beautiful thing. And right now to hear you say, I heard it as I didn't know I was the one really. I mean, I was literally asking the question, but I needed to hear that, because where I am now, this has only been, I had a big pivot in my life, in my career, and this project in particular, and sharing space with women and being in this industry is something I knew that I wanted to do when I was really, really young.
Yeah.
And life happened.
Yeah.
And hearing all this advice of committing full force didn't happen until I turned 30. And it's been 5 years. And so when I started, it's hard not to compare yourself, and seeing these younger kids.
Don't compare yourself, because your journey is your journey.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. You know, it doesn't matter as long as you're making yourself proud, and you're waking up every day and being like, I'm doing what I love. And,
absolutely,
you know, I know it is hard, because as creatives, we look at other works and, you know, it's hard, but just tunnel vision.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen if you worry about other people's work? You're gonna just put yourself down.
Exactly.
And then you're gonna be like, well, why aren't I there? Why? And no, it doesn't matter, because that person, you don't know that person's journey. They might have had the luxury to get there.
Absolutely.
You know, not everyone has, you know, that kind of luxury. And, you know, my mom is a single mom too, and she raised, you know, seeing her, you know, having to work and do that, it's not easy, and I'm sure your journey had to be a part, have to help a part of that, and it's just it's not easy. And so
but it's
your journey.
But it's exactly what you said. When you 100% commit to yourself and your ideas, and it's so rewarding. Even, and this is the acceptance that comes also with life experience, that you know, of coming full circle and accepting, like, I would rather have this feeling and those hard times of like figuring out how to get something funded, or, you know, but it's my project, or it's something that I so love. And being a creative and pursuing it. And
like it's fulfilling.
Exactly.
You know, it's like your darkest days doing what you love. It's better than being in something you're not loving, because that becomes endless, right? Like 100%. At least in these days, it's like when you find the fulfillment of those days, it's a high. You know, it is like the biggest high you'll ever have. You know, and so it makes everything worth it.
Absolutely.
And I hope you know that, like, by building this community, you're doing something incredible. And I'm so grateful that I get to support that and be a part of that.
Thank you. I receive that so much and appreciate you. And I think this is a great point to close our circle. I would say that in circle but it has been such a, and again, it's not coincidence that you're today's final conversation, because you shared medicine that I needed to hear as I embark on this project is going into light in the next few weeks. And I needed to hear that.
I'm so
thank you. Thank you for saying yes. And I look forward to continuing to get to know each other. And
yes, definitely. I'm all here for everything you are doing. So I support it, and thank you for having me. This is amazing. Thanks for having my mom here with me.
Of course, always.
She is my girl. So.
Thank you.